They walk among us, silent, smiling, empty-eyed. Some wear suits and shake your hand. Others bag your groceries, drive your Uber, or nod at you on the sidewalk. And then, some wait in the shadows, breathing your name, dragging a blade behind your every step. Tonight, I'll tell you stories that should never be told. Stories of those who looked human, until they weren't. This isn't just horror, it's history, true crimes blurred with folklore. But be warned, once you hear these names, you'll never walk home alone the same way again. In 1987, in a quiet Michigan town, the first body was found. A woman, eyes open wide, mouth stuffed with her own molars. Locals whispered of a man who lived alone in the woods, Gerald Mallory. No job, no family, just jars, dozens of them, on shelves, in drawers, under his bed, and inside each one, a tooth. They said Gerald believed teeth were keys to the soul. He collected them from corpses dug up in cemeteries. But when graves ran out, he started making his own. Apartment 4B in a crumbling building in Queens had one feature no one could explain: floor-to-ceiling mirrors on every wall. Every single wall. Tenants came and went, until 2012, when 3 bodies were found inside. Found, eyes sewn open, forced to watch themselves die. The killer was never found. But what police did find was worse. Hundreds of hours of footage. Hidden cameras. One labeled, "She smiled at me on the train." They called him the Whistler, because you'd always hear him before you saw him, if you saw him at all. Victims were all found in rural Nebraska, deep in the cornfields. Every one of them had their ears ruptured. No sign of struggle, no blood, just a faint recording, found near one body, of whistling, off-tune, slow, circling the microphone like someone pacing in a room. Police never found footprints, no tire tracks, no fingerprints, just that same melody, echoing. They say if you ever hear that whistle at night, lock every door, and pray he's just passing through. In 1933, in the shadowed alleyways of New Orleans, children began disappearing. Their names vanished from school rolls. Parents whispered about a man with a monkey on his shoulder and a music box cranked by hand, the organ grinder. But he had no son, until one night, a survivor returned. She was 9, shaking, bleeding. She said the boy had no eyes, just holes, black and deep, and his lullaby wasn't music. It was screaming. Police raided the grinder's home and found a room beneath the floor. Dozens of small shoes, and one box. Inside it, a monkey skull and a child's mask, sewn from skin. Suburbia, pink homes, white fences, barbecue Sundays. But in 1996, sleepovers became nightmares. Every month, a girl was found dead the morning after a party. No signs of forced entry. No struggle, just one thing in common: they all slept in sleeping bags, and all had one foot outside the cover. Rumors spread fast. Never let a foot dangle. Kids started zipping themselves up entirely. And one night, a father checking on his daughter swore he saw someone standing in the corner of the room. Watching, smiling, holding a pair of child's socks, soaked in blood. She was kind, sweet, always had cookies. Mrs. Reynolds lived at the end of the cul-de-sac and fed everyone. Casseroles, muffins, meatloaf. So much food. No one ever saw her shop. And no one noticed that drifters, junkies, homeless, door-to-door salesmen, stopped passing through her street after a while. It wasn't until a neighborhood dog dragged a human finger onto someone's lawn that police raided her home. The smell hit them first. Then they found the freezer. She'd labeled each pack of meat like an old butcher. Brian, March 2nd. Lucy, July 14th. When asked why, she smiled and whispered, "Waste not." He didn't kill with blades. He killed with rope, not to strangle, but to perform. The puppeteer posed his victims in twisted scenes. One as a ballerina, another a laughing jester with her mouth carved into a grin. He broke every bone in their body just to make them dance. Police said he was meticulous. They found blueprints, performance notes, even ticket stubs to plays he never missed. But the scariest thing, his final performance was titled The Investigator. And 2 days later, the lead detective was found hanging from strings, hands raised in surrender, still alive when it started. He never broke in. He never forced a lock. He didn't have to. The locksmith had a collection of over 1,000 keys, each one to a different home. Police never figured out how he got them. But every victim had one thing in common: no sign of entry. No alarm tripped. Just the door, Quietly opened sometime between 3 and 4 a.m. Sometimes, he didn't kill. Sometimes, he just moved things. Took a single shoe, rearranged photos, left the TV on a static channel. And then, weeks later, he'd come back and take everything. 8 stories, 8 monsters, 8 warnings. But they're not just tales, are they? They're patterns, shadows, echoes. Maybe they're real, maybe they were once, or maybe they still are. Check your locks tonight. Look under the bed. Pull your foot inside the covers. And if you hear whistling, don't look out the window. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Remember, the scariest monsters are the ones that wear our faces.